think kita boleh pelan-pelan juga start. You nak buat soalan apa? Do you have any questions that is in your mind that you rasa-rasa nak buat? Dia tengok EKPS juris tu dia tak banyak soalan lah. Collection. Do you want me to go ahead and look at all the questions? Macam mana? What say you? Ni December 2019, yang ni bila? Ni 2008. Hi guys, how do you want it to be? Kita go through one by one ke macam mana? Ataupun you have any questions? Macam mana? Tak dengar.
Boleh juga sir, go one by one.
I'll go one by one, okay. Kalau somebody nak masuk tu tolong beritahu. Kadang-kadang PCR ni dia tak ada bunyi orang nak masuk. Alright, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Kita tengok soalan. Can you see my screen, right?
Boleh sir?
Boleh sir.
Alright. Okay, kalau kita tengok question 1 macam mana?
Maksudnya direct sir. Maksudnya macam direct.
Memang direct lah. Tapi apa content dia?
Theory upon sociological jurisprudence theory that law should not just be made out of ideals, but it should take into account the social needs, or we should study what is required of any social ills.
Lepas tu content dia macam mana kita nak letak? Itu dia punya overall kan? So you nak bincang apa content yang mesti ada dalam ni? Discussion about what?
Define social engineering.
Okay,
Lepas tu
juru postulate yang kemudian yang penting ialah balancing dulu.
Classification of interest sir.
Yang 3 tu. Social, public dengan individual. So once you dia sama je. Dia nampak macam soalan tu macam canggih gila kan. But the thing is dia tanya pasal pound, dia tanya tentang sociological punya perspektif, and then you have to explain the same lah. Kan? Simple, straightforward. So pound is about balancing, and then juru postulate kalau ada. Okay, soalan 1 siap. Any problem on soalan 1? The fact that dia letak kat sini study of actual social effect of legal institution, study in preparation for lawmaking and effective legal precepts ni, semua we don't have to worry about that, because the basic thing that Pound is talking about is sociological jurisprudence to conduct a structured punya social punya study in order for you to understand the situation of the society by doing the balancing of all the interest of parties involved. Then you take into consideration the juru postulate, then you come up with your own law. That's it. Tapi kalau 6 marks ni very straightforward lah. Memang tak akan ada dalam exam soalan you lah Tapi kita as a recap lah, kalau macam ni apa yang kita punya content Any question on that? Tak ada Second question. Ini bawah juris mana?
American Realism.
Okay, good. Anda?
American Realism.
Ya, betul. Juris?
Curly Willin.
Kali William. Oh, very good. So you explain the differences in terms of what he says about fact skeptic dengan rule skeptic kan? And then you are to actually look into how the behavior of the judges in terms of predictability of judicial decision. Okay. So jadi dekat lower court macam mana, superior court macam mana? Because each category will concentrate on different different facts or a different approach. Okay, that is second question. Third question. Any question on the second one? Kalau you tak tahu Khalilin, then you are going to be a bit of a problem lah, in terms of understanding kan, who this fact skeptic dengan rule skeptic coming from. Okay, the third question.
The third question, I think it's we have to explain on the concept of historical class struggle. By maintaining that it is still in a state of transition.
Who is the one that we need to concentrate? Dah memang ada dalam soalan kan? Marx lah. Betul?
Betul.
Okay, so we are in the process of transition in kalau kita nak tengok apa yang lagi konten yang kena ada.
The concept of class struggle,
Very good.
transition between capitalist economy dengan socialist economy, where capitalism is actually socialism.
Dia macam ni, from capitalist to socialism to communism. Dia ada 3 separate thing ya. Feudal, from feudal to capitalism, from capitalism to socialism, from socialism to communism. So the communism is the last stage. So transition kita is the process of being abused by the bourgeoisies towards proletariat, and you have to explain all those. And then you have to maintain that eventually it will be the whole society of the world will move towards Marxism, but communism, whereby there is no need for the law. Itu yang dinamakan where the state and the law would withers away. There is no concept of the state. There is no need for the implementation of the law, because everyone is working together towards one goal. Input? Any questions that you want to ask?
So what exactly does the question require, sir?
Dia kata justify the socialist state needs to contradict itself by maintaining what is that it is still in the state of transition. Meaning, if you want to show that socialist state, whether they are in the state of transition or not, then you can put in your own opinion saying that the socialist state actually they are not in transition towards what is the Marx saying that you are to, there is no what they call it, there is no
Abolishment of ruling class.
no, there is no state and law.
So the focus is to explain on class struggle and abolishment of ruling class.
Yes. So you are saying you are supposed to tell that the class struggle is still going on, irrespective whether they are a socialist state.
Oh, okay. Thank you,
Kan?
sir.
So you put in China, you put in Russia, you put in Cuba, you know. So you can put in Vietnam. So the thing is that they are in the process of transition, but they are not able to achieve that so-called status of what Marx is saying. So you are supposed to come up to the position that the state and the law will withers away. There is no need. There is no existence of state and law anymore.
Faham, faham. Thank you, sir.
Tapi masalah dia bila ni you boleh komen lah kan, there is not going to be likely a position of what Marx is asking or saying, because how can a country do not exist as a state, you know, maybe in a form of management of the state, yes, but and when it comes to sovereignty, obviously you have to have some kind of you know, system intact in order for you to guard your country. Betul tak? How can you have a country without some kind of laws? You know, quite difficult for you for a state to achieve that.
Tapi sir, bukan Marxist is that it's not the existence of laws, tapi the existence of oppressive laws lah kan sir?
Oppressive law uh, dia dia serampang dua mata lah. You know, you are to take into consideration that there is law that is being oppressive. However, law can be made by that society, provided it is to control the society lah. Tapi abusive lah, you can say that abusive punya nature. Boleh. In a sense that the law is not to be in a abusive state. Boleh lah. You just cakap macam tu. There would definitely be some kind of law when it comes to the Marxist state ataupun true communist punya state, but it depends.
So kita based on this question sir, macam do we do macam legal theory dia is very loose kan sir?
It
Tapi
is.
So macam it is more on critique of macam economic system kan sir? So do we relate the economic system, the critique of the economic system into the legal theory, ataupun we should macam express macam the legal theory in itself?
Remember, Marx dia tak ada solution yang dia okay, this is going to be what it is. Dia kata eventually we don't need a system of state, we don't need a system of law in order for us to regulate our country. That remember, as I said just now, dia tak ada solution yang dia bagi. Cumanya dia bagi the problem. So you have to discuss the abuse of the bourgeoisie over the proletariat lah, by utilizing the law. Comment?
So macam when we talk about socialist states, everything is state owned kan? Macam
they got state control.
So there is no private property.
Yes.
So we relate that particular fact of a socialist state being everything is state property and how it is in a state of transition.
Yeah, they are supposed to be in the state of transition, but kalau you kata China and Russia, they are not in the state of transition, whereby by right Marx kata as soon as possible, meaning a few years after the stabilization of the country, balik daripada anarchy, right, when there is a revolution, by right the person that is holding power They are just to centralize their power and then pass back to the society. But in this situation, the socialist state that we have in the world, they have not moved to that level.
Oh, so
Dia tak sampai
macam
level tu lagi. Dia masih dia macam terencak tau.
faham. Macam
Jadi
the socialist state control the resources,
yes,
tapi the resources is utilized by the, let's say in China, the Communist Party.
yes. So dia orang yang centralize, dia orang yang buat plan ekonomi, and then it works the other way, 360 of what Marx is saying. You ambil kuasa, you rampas kuasa, you pegang kuasa, make everything stable and then pass back to the society. Okay, society, we are going to reduce all the laws. We are going to reduce the central control of the government. The authority of controlling us, the government, is based on the society itself. Collectively, the society is in ownership of the government. The government must be responsible. There is no government lah. Yeah, to put it simple, there is no government. The society will appoint someone, uh, which are going to be answerable for towards them. Dia macam orang pekerja lah.
Bukan that one the transition ke sir, yang abolishing ataupun destroying the classical ruling class, the bourgeoisie, and then the traditional ruling class, and then there's going to be a transition into a dictatorship, and then after that is basically utopia lah. So right now.
Dia dekat tengah-tengah, dekat dictatorship tu.
And then macam all the state property is profited by macam in China the Communist Party.
Central government.
Then it has not reached to a point where the people yang can benefit equally all those state property lah. It's still macam profited by the central government lah.
Yes. So in that particular state of China and Russia, by right, the society have to decide what they want to do. They are free to do whatever they want. There is no instruction coming from above. It's a demand and supply that is basically given to the society to decide what they want to produce, what they want to consume. The state of economy whereby there is no need for a centralized government. Everyone is working together towards the as what you said, the utopian condition of the society. There is no selfishness. Yes.
Sorry, sir. So to just to answer the question, justify why the socialist states need to contradict itself by maintaining that it is still in the state of transition, meaning that kita ambil contoh a socialist state, which is China, Cuba, North Korea. That why does it need to maintain itself as a socialist state is to basically oppress the people lah kan sir?
Yeah. Saya kata why the socialist states needs to contradict itself. So why do that particular state need to contradict themselves is when they are in the state of what they call it, dictatorship, right? When they have a strong central government where every ownership belongs to them, belong to the state, which is not what Marx is saying. So everything has to be given back to the society. Maksudnya dia masih dalam proses dia tak ada move towards that. There is no move from North Korea as what you mentioned, North Korea, China and Russia towards giving back to the society the right for them to control.
So we justify the stagnation lah sir. Macam why is it still at the third stage? Why has it not reached the final stage where everyone yang decide what to do and all that lah?
So you rasa macam mana? Kenapa? Why they are not moving to the last stage?
Because being in power is enjoyable.
Corruption,
Yeah.
kita kita baru nampak semalam, how people wants to struggle and stay in power by justifying emergency. So you kata the you tengok North Korea lah, the best. He wants to be in power. He wants to be seen as God. Everyone have to bow to him. And then if by the fact that if you were to do anything, making a remark about dia punya gambar or dia punya statue, you can be sentenced to death. I mean for sure you are going to sentence to death. If you make any statement macam Jack Ma buat statement dekat China, it has been seen as an offense towards the state, which allows you to be, maybe I don't know whether they have killed him or not, whether he's in jail or somewhere, So that is the transition when it comes to people who are in power, be it in Russia, China, or whichever place that call themselves as socialist state. Boleh? Ada soalan nak tanya? The rest semua diam je. Ada nak bagi input? Ada nak tanya soalan? Boleh. Kalau soalan yang macam ni datang dalam exam nanti.
InsyaAllah boleh sir.
Okay. Ada orang buat statement. InsyaAllah boleh. Okay, right. Question 4. Oliver Corona and Ross in the realist approach insist on the factors such as validity and bindingness are important features in the version of realism, distinguish their respective approaches. Oliver Corona kata macam mana? Ross kata macam mana? Any specific kan about a jurist?
Oliver Corona cakap pasal psychological aspect of law.
Very good. Ross?
Ross tak pasti sir.
Take your time. I mean, everyone that is here, can you look up? Ada.
Ada input in the chat box sir.
Apa dia? Input in chat box. Oh, okay. Very good, Atika. Very good. Meaning you are to take into perspective the empirical method of observation. Yeah, in order for us to look at the society when it comes to their norms, social norms that is being applied in the society. So yeah, okay, and it will be binding on the judge or legal authorities applying the law. To make it simple, where if you are a person of a legal person later on in the next 5 years. You will be working. Then you might be working in the judiciary or maybe in the authorities, yeah? Maybe enforcement authorities. So you are not to look at the norm of the society by virtue of the conduct of the society, but you are looking at the empirical, meaning you look at data. Yeah. So you look at that data in order for you to really understand the behavior of the society. For example, why people keep on, if you are with Majlis Pembandaran, the municipal, you want to understand why people keep on opening up, gerai-gerai tepi jalan, you know. If you were to utilize the law, obviously you can easily ask your officers to go down and, do their job by summoning. And summoning does not eradicate the activities. So what you need to do is to look at the problem in a very in a fresh manner. You have to do some statistic in terms of empirical data into observing why they are like that. So you have to discover that it is because they have no money. They are out of job during the COVID, right? So they have to survive in order for them to pay for the food, for the rent, for the banks payments, right? So that is the only easiest way to do, to do an income by opening up a stall, yeah, next to the road. So what you have to do now is to change the law and try to move the perception of the law towards allowing them to open up, but enforced by virtue of maybe uh, for them to have what they call it, infectious apa kata, medicine to be taken up, like, having jabs. And then on top of that, maybe to ensure the cleanliness, if they are not be able to clean up properly, then you can summon them on that basis. So other agencies can also come in for them to register their businesses, and then for us to be able to, for you guys to be able to monitor where they are, and if you were to take action against them, you know where do they live, uh, so that kind of things. Okay, so macam Nurul kata, if you're talking about the judge, then obviously the judge is looking from the perspective of norm by virtue of empirical methods. Yeah, not simply your opinion about that particular problem. Dia macam sociological jurisprudence lah. Tapi sociological jurisprudence is analyzing or doing the balancing. But this one is on the perspective of observation. Okay. Lagi? Ada statement on question number 4? Kita tengok question number 5 macam mana? Ada marks 2 right? Okay. As a political agenda, the postmodernists maintain that the time is right for subversion in order to undermine the dominant discourse because Marxism has been discredited. Capitalism unstable and the bureaucratic welfare state is full of contradiction. This therefore demands a change in the political system. Summarize your suggestion whether such postmodernist proposal can be effectively carried out. So the question is about what? Postmodernism, ada 2 kali they mention. So postmodernist. So how do you suggest to answer this? Siapa juris dia?
Habermas.
Habermas. Okay, good. Habermas dia nak apa? What is the key word for Habermas?
Pragmatism.
Pragmatism. So if you're looking at the situation of law, it must be a pragmatist approach. So here you have to compare and contrast lah. You compare and contrast because it does mention about Marxism. It also mentioned about capitalism, right? So you have to compare and contrast. Macam mana you nak compare and contrast dalam kes ni? You look at the weaknesses of Marxism just now. Remember, when we answer question number 3, you talk about the Marxism, the current situation of socialist state. They are, they are in the state of limbo. Okay, they are the problem. They are not yet moved to the stage of Marxism. So you can discredit Marxism is very difficult to be achieved. It is a fictitious, orang panggil kita angan-angan lah. Yeah, it's just an ideal, condition which is not achievable. So therefore, it has to be discredited. Capitalism, it is due to the unstable condition where you have economic downturn every 10 years, right? So the law that has been implemented ataupun not being implemented dalam Marxism is something that is something that is full of contradiction, as already mentioned by the question. So what you need to do is, by coming up with a kind of law, a law that would be able to be pragmatic in nature, with irrespective whether it it is a combination of Marxism and capitalism at the same time. Macam China, they are able to become, I think by now they are the first, the best economy country in the world, but still maintain the communist punya, socialist punya status. It is a combination of both. So both capitalist and socialist punya ideology or implementation of the law that can result in a pragmatic nature, a pragmatic development of the society. Nampak ada sikit, yeah.
So do we need to talk about communicative theory?
Boleh? Macam mana you nak masukkan communicative theory?
I guess relate with society. A political system requires participation from members of society.
Very good. Okay, communicative theory talks about the government must be in touch of the with the society, kan? So you cannot have a political system that like capitalism do not care about the society. There is a this unity in terms of interaction between the system that is being applied with the society that is being controlled. So if you're looking at a pragmatic and a pragmatic system that is in a manner that it's able to communicate with the society, then it's much better lah. So kita tak boleh ada society yang di mana the society is very selfish. Kalau kita tengok capitalism, they don't care about anyone else. I just care about myself. I don't care about you. There is no sense of communication between the society among themselves or with the government. Government, kalau dia keluar policy is general. It is not specific. General macam mana? Kalau dia buat infrastructure, dia buat infrastructure that is going to benefit all. It is not concerning about certain group of people. So there is no communication between the government with a certain group of society that is needed for them to emphasize or to concentrate, ya, nak membangunkan ataupun nak menyelesaikan masalah-masalah mereka. Say for example, orang miskin. So the government kata, okay, we give you electricity, we give you water, we give you road transport, road facilities. That's it. But those benefit of that utility is going to be taken by the rich people as compared to the poor people. So postmodern punya approach is more pragmatic, is more realistic, where it goes down to the communicating ability of the government with the specific group of people.
So macam if we approach this question macam okay, we introduce Habermas and macam he explains about pragmatism. If you want to do it, you can do it. Boleh cari how we want to do it. Then relate to the communicative theory where this theory coupled with the public sphere theory is used to criticize firstly capitalism. Stating that capitalism only takes into account the profit lah. To put it simply, it is a system that is centralized on profit, and then use the same theory to criticize the Marxist theory.
Very good. Yeah, you attack both.
After that, we don't have to macam propose something else, ke sir?
Tak payah. You don't have to go to the extent that you want to propose something. There is no need, because you are utilizing postmodern to attack both capitalism and Marxism. Nampak tak?
So keyword is participation. Macam okay, in a capitalist political system, I argue that communication is not a problem. Ataupun
kapitalis memang ada problem, because government just concentrate on a general policy making. That's it. You know?
Macam okay.
Nampak tak? Dia very selfish. Kalau government dalam kapitalism, dia akan tolong orang kaya sahaja.
So
kan?
The communication is limited only to those who have privilege lah.
Yes. Nampak tak keadaan kita sekarang? They can only concern themselves with those people that is considered as major player. You know, they are more concerned about companies. The companies can easily communicate with the government and saying that kami nak ni, kami nak tu, you know, I want to be able to make an arrangement. Macam dekat Indonesia, the companies are saying that we want to lower down the wages, then we don't want the trade union to be involved. So nampak tak? Dia more towards certain favoritism lah. Capitalism ni is more favor towards a certain group of people that can benefit the society, that can benefit the country. So these people, giant ni, they multi national companies, right? They are favored because they bring profit to the society. So tak ada communication to those people yang that is poor, you know, people out of rural areas, tak ada. Dia orang macam kena terima apa orang kata side. I don't nampak macam apa Nabi Isa bila dia orang minta bagilah sikit roti tu, kan dia kata dogs it can eat the crumbs, maksudnya dia anggap kita kan dalam kapitalism we are nothing, you know, kita ni macam anjing je lah. If we are not able to prove to the system of capitalists that we can benefit the system, then we are nothing.
So macam if we relate to communicative theory, that we can say that there is not enough participation ataupun there is a lack of participation.
That cause
That is ataupun can we structure the argument so as to say that it's not that there's no communication, tapi communication is limited to a certain class.
yes, very
Then
good.
the what about a Marxist political system?
They want centralized, too centralized. Given the situation of being centralized, kan? Marxism is asking us to give back to the society. So you kata it is not pragmatic. It doesn't. It is not realistic at all. How can you create a system yang di mana the society is the one to decide? It will never take place because you will say that people have their, what do you call it? People are selfish. How can you have a system that everyone is working together for everyone? Doesn't make sense. Betul tak? Boleh you tak ada property belongs to everyone. You buat kerja, everyone buat kerja untuk everyone. Dekat syurga je ada benda tu. You can say that people are so selfish. They just don't want to be able to share everything. They want to own. By nature, human beings are those people who likes to own things, and they are bound to be capitalist in nature. They don't like to do things freely for other people. So you attack Marxism punya proposal lah. Marxism punya proposal is too idealistic, yang tak akan boleh jadinya. So you dengan
relate that
sorry.
Sorry. How do we relate that with the communicative theory ataupun the public sphere? Is it macam we explain that because power is centralized, tapi macam
Power will always be centralized. Then when power is always centralized, how can you have a communicative interaction? It will be capitalism in one way or another. Because Marxism memang kita kena tolak terus because it doesn't make sense. You ask people to communicate with each other. That is human beings punya problem. We don't like to communicate with each other. So that system will not work. So it has to be a communication between societies for pragmatic purposes. For a purpose of to achieve something, people are willing to do some kind of communication with one another.
Okay,
Maksudnya,
so we approach the question, we discredit communism terus and we critique capitalism.
very good. That is how you do it.
Then we relate to macam, I would like to macam point out bureaucratic welfare system. That is socialist punya element kan sir?
Ni socialist element. So you can put in yalah betul lah, I tak nampak bureaucratic welfare state is socialism lah. So you attack tiga-tiga lah, bukan dua, sorry.
Okay sir, thank you.
Tak apa, as long as you are able to state that yang ni soalan ni kira macam you kena be on the side of postmodernism. Ni soalan ni wow, soalan ni ada 3 soalan Marxism. Macam mana China manage to harness system theory? meaning the what do you call it, the socialist punya move lah, system theory kan. Ni Stalin, he uses the Marx in order for him to bring the to introduce a system whereby it's centralized. However, his system of centralization is different from those of Chinese. Dia ada market socialism kan. Market socialism ni macam mana? Ada perkataan market ni. Capitalist lah. It's a mixture between capitalist and socialist that is being applied by both China and Russia. So China managed to harness the system theory better as compared to Russia, because they are lacking that kind of ability to open up the system to capitalists. Ada you baca somewhere that the dynamic of China when it comes to their modernization and in the global economy? Ada tak?
Sir, what is the system theory, sir?
System theory is being able to control the society. Macam Marx jugalah, tapi they say that they system theory in the sense that this is a planned economy.
Oh.
Yang ni Prof. Ibrahim Lamat ni, dia memang dia suka ni 1980, 2008 when he was still around. Tak apa, you don't worry this type of question coming up, because we never covered system theory in a depth. So don't worry about that. Other questions? Kita ambil yang the later parts lah, senang sikit. One or two question lagi ya. Yang ni? Macam mana yang ni? Last one sebelum kita end the class.
This one bincang pasal the fact and rule skeptics ke, sir?
Okay. Lagi? Selain daripada tu, anyone? Saya dekat you as well. Pressured untuk nak jawab. I think the rest cuma perhati je. Rule skeptic, fact skeptic, lagi. Or the American jurist can be used lah. Sebab yang kalau soalan tadi, say for example, right, if you're looking at the system theory lah, for example, it's a combination of theory in order for us to combine everything. Tapi this is just to I did not introduce the system theory in order for us to go in depth dalam kita punya lesson. But this, as compared to this, it is a critical analysis as compared to this one. It is more towards introducing all those American realism punya jurists.
This one is essay question je kan, sir?
Yang ni essay, yang ni critical sikit. Kan, tapi ini pun ayat dia kata describe. Kalau describe dia tak berapa power. Ni pun boleh lah identify. Meaning it's just apa orang kata, essay as what you mentioned just now.
Saya nak explain semua juris ke sir?
Dia kata ni taken by 2 groups kan. Boleh lah you ambil 2 groups sajalah, ambil 10 marks, 10 marks. Tapi you have to go in depth lah when it comes to their role in terms of the court system. So you kena keluarkan some example, legal example of court case law, you know. So you letak case law dalam tu. The rest ada nampak tak? Soalan ni tanya berkenaan apa? Dia kata so identify realities kan of these juries when it comes to their judicial punya process that they are doing kan. Then outline the premise where the different position taken by these two group of juries dalam American realist. So you ambil, siapa yang nak ambil? Cik nak compare siapa dengan siapa? Khalilin dengan? Hi guys, siapa yang nak ambil?
Jerome Frank.
Jerome Frank, very good. Yeah. Kalau ambil Jerome Frank pun boleh. Then if you take Jerome and then you compare dengan Llewellyn lah. Llewellyn. Tadi kata apa? You nak ambil siapa? Llewellyn
Llewellyn dengan Jerome Frank, sir.
Okay, you compare and contrast. Boleh tak kalau you nak compare and contrast based on your understanding lah. Then you obviously for each one of them you dah prepare at least 2 example, right? Of apa kata legal case for you to act as evidence ataupun act as your support. So in order for you to do that, you must prepare each one of them have 2 example. So in this particular question, the question is asking untuk nak compare and contrast the 2 group of how they do their job, right? So you bagilah example that contradict each other when it comes to case law. Kan, we are talking about anything that is judicial in matter kan. Boleh?
So, apa contoh case law yang boleh guna?
Kalau Llewellyn dia kata macam mana? Fact skeptic, narrow skeptic kan? Apa you dah ada dalam you punya mind? Kalau kita ambil macam for example, I need to have example from you guys. Otherwise I'll be macam mana? Spoon feeding pula. Macam mana? You have to think about a situation. Rule skeptic and fact skeptic macam mana? Ada tak case law of your example that you are going to be able to give? Dalam thought? Any example that you can come from what they call this? Thought? Sebab kebanyakannya cases when it comes to dia banyak boleh ambil daripada apa Consti 1, Consti 2 ataupun land law. You can take from contract, any decision that is being made by the courts. You boleh ambil daripada thoughts, Donahue Stevenson ke apa ke. So many cases that you are able to take into consideration.
Maksudnya kita ambil mana-mana cases, lepas tu kita relate dengan diorang punya principle macam
yes.
Apa yang okay. Decision je lah
contoh you ambil Donahue Stevenson. Kalau Donahue Stevenson is a decision that is being made, a law, nak kita panggil pun case law kan. Kalau kita panggil dia case law, the law is coming from the case. So dalam Donahue, the judges says that the new law would be by virtue of negligence, kan, duty, breach and damage. So where does the element comes from? Rule skeptic, fact skeptic. Kalau lah kata court that is being courts yang decide adalah courts yang atas. Okay, dia akan concentrate on the facts or the rule. Neighbor principle datang, is it a fact or is it a rule? You answer me tak? Kalau kita tengok Donahue, court yang decide mesti superior courts, betul tak? Dalam superior court punya decision, are they looking at the facts or the rule?
The rules, sir.
The rule. Why the rule? Because kita dalam those cases, kita akan nampak introduction of a rule or a new principle. So in this particular case, ada neighbor principle. So in line with what Llewellyn is saying lah, kan, lower courts they just concentrate on the facts. They are rule skeptic. They just don't want to look at the rules. So you akan cari any cases of your choice in order for you to relate to the juries of the one that you are going to discuss. Boleh nampak, guys?
Boleh, sir.
Okay, good. I think you have another class. If you want to stay pun boleh, because the channel pun buka untuk the other group D, untuk for us to discuss.
Right, sir.
Alright, thank you very much. So see you hari Jumaat ni, Hari Jumaat pun kita buat passage question lah, or Q&A if you were to question based on the slide. Boleh, guys?
Boleh, sir.
Alright. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, sir.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Assalamualaikum, guys. Adriana, Aisyah, Anik, Izzian. So how's things? Okay? So you're with group C or group D? Tak apa, if you like to stay on, it's okay. For those yang group C, if you wanted to continue and staying on.
Saya group C, sir.
C, tak apa, it's okay. No problem.
Saya nak tanya yang masa tadi tu, masa kelas habis tu, saya kata Jumaat ni sambung pasir lagi
Kalau Q&A lah, meaning if you have any problem ke, you want to clarify, you refer to the slide and then we can discuss things out. Ada dua benda lah. You can Q&A, meaning you have some problem yang you tak faham, benda-benda yang you tak faham, you boleh minta clarification. And then katalah you tengah nak buat nota ke apa ke, there are certain things that you want to put in, you tak faham ataupun you tak nampak, then we can clarify. Itu satu. Yang keduanya, we can proceed and go through the passage question in order for us to like familiarize ourselves lah dengan soalan-soalan final ni. That does not mean that we are doing something yang kita tahu apa yang nak keluar, kan, tapi kita familiarize ourselves dengan soalan-soalan exam lah, supaya kita tak adalah panik bila tengok soalan exam.
Oh, tapi tak silap saya minggu masa Jumaat lepas tu tajuk yang last tu tak habis lagi, sir.
Oh ya ke? Apa yang tak habis?
Yang judicial.
Oh, judicial. Okay,
Sebab tu
yeah,
baru masuk
I
part
pun perasan.
introduction tu.
Okay, alright, kita sambung yang tu. Kita habiskan tu. Sorry. Nanti masukkan dalam group, kata kita continue hari hari Khamis ni untuk continuation of that lah. Asyik duk lupa, I duk fikir juris 1. Sorry, di juris 2. Okay. Otak dah confused lah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Right, guys, what we are going to do is to look at the passage question. Kita start dengan 2008 dulu kot. Ataupun macam mana, you nak start dengan 2019. Up to you. Which one of the questions yang kita nak approach. Yang ni is more straightforward. Memang tak akan ada soalan ni dalam exam sekarang. Right, dia akan bagi 2 soalan panjang. Which boleh juga kalau kita nak buat benda ni kan. But just kata recap of your knowledge, and then mungkin macam mana kita tengok soalan ni, macam mana approach yang kita kena buat in order for us to answer that question. Boleh? Just now kita buat dengan group C. I go through the 2008. So are you okay with it? So next week kita akan ada lagi session untuk tutorial kan? Kita punya kelas habis bila? Next week or the next week after the next? Anyone who knows about the what they call it, kita punya exam ni? Exam lagi 3 minggu kan?
Exam start on 1st of February, sir.
First of it, half a month. So we can have another 2 more times of tutorial. So we can go, look at the questions and then, look at the possible answers that we can come up with. Boleh? Can we do that? Okay. Which one do you want? I'm open for suggestion. But when it comes to kita punya lecture tu, ada separuh jalan kan? So we're going to continue on that. Tak ada isu lain tu. Tapi tutorial ni, I think next year pula, next month pula, next week punya lecture dah habis lah. By then dah habis. But still boleh ada lecture punya time, kita boleh buat passage question ke, discussion ke, you can ask me question, you can clarify, and things like that. For the time being, kita buat passage question for tutorial kali ni. Boleh guys? Boleh, okay. Right. Kalau kita tengok 2008, this question, what do you think in terms of how you answer? Anyone? Found proposed program of action for sociological jurisprudence consists inter alia of a sociological study of actual social effects of legal institutions, study in the preparation for lawmaking and effective legal precepts. Explain the concept and suggest how these studies can be carried out. Macam mana you nak jawab soalan ni? Anyone? Ni group lain. Yes. Guys? I don't want to force, nanti stress pula. So anyone who wants to try. Macam mana you jawab soalan ni? Yes? Can anyone? Tak biasa I nak point fingers. I want you to try it out. Oh, okay. Explain what is sociological jurisprudence as to what Pound believe. Very good. Okay. And then what is the content then? Why he believe in that? And then apa lagi? What would be the core concept of Pound? Apa core concept? Anyone else other than Vinny? Remember, you are not going to the exam. Obviously, question will be coming out. Either way, if you're talking about all the juries, the concept is very important. So I just want to go through concept. Do you understand what things that you need to put in? Alright, takut tengok soalan ke? Don't think so, right? So macam mana? Come on. You can make mistakes. No problem. Apa yang ada dalam pound that you have to mention? Social engineering, yes. Balance of conflict of interest, yes. Good, Claudia. Sabrina kata Roscoe promulgated the idea of functionality of law, yes, basically known as social engineering. Obviously, you have to introduce his idea. He says the law equals to social engineering, right? And why he needs the law to be in that position to engineer by virtue of the content. Apa yang content social engineering? Balancing of the interest, conflicting interest. Apa ya? Conflicting interest dengan siapa? The social, yes, yeah, the balance between private, social, and public. Now that is part A. Part B would be, sebab dia kata dekat sini kan, law making. Jadi kalau you nak buat law making, apa yang Pound cakap tentang law making? After the balancing, apa yang you kena buat? Juror, you kena buat apa? Juror postulate. Okay, good. So you have to mention about Pound's idea or sociological jurisprudence. He needs the study to be made on society by virtue of data. So the collection of data is very important in order for a comprehensive study to be made. And that comprehensive study is to be made towards the balance of the interest of society. Yeah? Then we can divide it into public, and private, and what they call it just now, the social punya balancing. So after that, you mentioned about juror postulate. Yeah, in order for lawmaking is to be made based on the study, the study dulu, okay, and then make the law. Okay, so if we were to have these two, therefore there would be effective legal precepts ataupun the effective legal implementation. Any question on this, what do you call it, question? Simple, straightforward, even though the sentence used dalam soalan ni nampak macam canggih, so don't be worried about the words that is being used dalam soalan. If you are talking about pound, there is no other things that pound is saying other than the sociological jurisprudence, sociological study that has been done, that is needed to be done on all the three groups, and then do the balancing, and then create the law, and then you don't have to worry about the law, and because you are to have this so-called juror postulate in your mind while doing the law. Okay, question on first question ada? Tak ada? Kalau tak ada, kita tengok question number 2. Distinguish the differences between fact skeptic and rule skeptic. Siapa yang keluarkan fact skeptic dengan rule skeptic ni? Dan dikatakan in view of the recent emphasis on judicial behaviorism, where predictability of judicial decision is stressed, do the differences make any matter anymore? Apa yang difference? Faham tak soalan ni? Can you write down about the ni? Ya, Jerome Frank. Fine, tapi apa yang nak dicakap? What is the content of your answer? So the first part is to be able to differentiate, distinguish the differences between the rule skeptic and fact skeptic. So what do you mean by that? So you have to give the example lah, the explanation and the legal example that you can have. So in that situation, after that, apa yang lagi you kena buat? Ada beza tak the fact skeptic and rule skeptic of the judicial punya activism that we have currently in our society, where you see judges are more daring in order for them to make decisions? Adakah lower court berani buat trying to change the rule? Fact skeptic untuk court mana? Rule skeptic dekat court mana? Macam mana guys? Tak ada. Tak ada respon. Macam mana ni? Okay ke tak? I cannot be doing it on my own. I want you to be able to. This is not a lecture, or I cannot be spoon feeding you. So I need you to participate in order for me to have a understanding of to what extent or level that your understanding is. Macam mana? Jangan takut nak make attempt fact skeptic lower court, right? Betul, lower court, Izian? Fact skeptic means you are skeptic about the facts. You are looking at more towards the rule. Kalau rule skeptic, you are looking at the facts more. Fact skeptic, I think Izia, macam mana? You nak? Are you sure? Lower courts? Kalau lower court, dia tengok kat facts ke dia tengok dekat rules? Lower court more towards rule, then fact skeptic lah kan? Okay. Kalau fact skeptic, dia towards rules. Kalau rule skeptic is towards facts. Any rule skeptic is towards lower court, and then fact skeptic is towards the rule, which is looking at the upper courts. Tak apa, sihat sikit, demam. Tak apa, it's okay. Don't sorry. Just a matter of perspective. Kalau dia kata pakai skeptik kan, kalau skeptik, you are skeptic, you tak percaya sangat daripada facts. You looking at the rules. Okay, so second part of the question, in view of the recent emphasis on the judicial behaviorism, where predictability of judicial decision is stressed, do the differences matter anymore? Do you think that fact skeptic and rule skeptic is still being applied in the court of law? Ya, betul, sepakat. The fact skeptic deals with the process of identifying the fact of the court. They are not looking at the facts. But them, they are looking at the rules. Dia terbalik. So are they going to be the differences? Do you think that it matters anymore about fact skeptic ke, rule skeptic ke? Does it matter anymore? Yes or no? Can you give example? Legal example? Apa legal example yang kita boleh bagi? Kalau kita tengok Donaghy Stevenson, okay, dia macam ni. Lower courts dia tengok kepada rules ke facts? It depends kan nowadays. Kalau dulu, it is based on apa? Kalau dulu, based on you kena tangkap, looking at the facts. Betul tak? The lower courts dia akan look at the facts. It's not about the rule. Banyak superior courts talks about the rules as compared to the facts. Kita ambil contoh Donaghy and Stevenson. Kalau Donaghy and Stevenson, is it looking at the facts or the principle of rule? What is the one that is in question? Rule. Upper court is, jadi dia fact skeptic lah. Meaning dia looking at the rule. Fact skeptic. Sorry, capital lah. Okay. So fact skeptic focus on the rules instead of the fact. Betul? Fact skeptic is more towards the rules. So kalau macam tu, rules is more towards superior courts. Tak? Contoh, Donaghy Stevenson. Right? Kalau Donaghy Stevenson, it is more about rule. where we have neighbor principle. Betul tak? Kalau kita tengok ambil law of thought, law of contract, law of land, law of constitutional law, okay, kalau kita ambil constitutional law cases, is more towards rules. What is the rules? General principle, okay. The idea of justice, you're looking more towards the rule as compared to the facts. But kalau lower courts, they tengok the facts much more better ataupun much more as compared to the rules. Boleh guys? So dia kata, does it matter anymore nowadays? What do you think? This is your opinion lah. Tadi cuma explain what is rule skeptic and fact skeptic. Second one is to ask you whether your opinion. So what do you think? Took into account of matters as well. Yeah. Yeah, okay, good, Claudia. Meaning, the courts are more relaxed in terms of what school rule skeptic and fact skeptic nowadays. Yeah, so it's a dynamic application of the law by the judges. So they are more relaxed in terms of applying to find justice. To find out justice of the case, to give justice to the case. Do you have an example that you can give currently where lower courts, looking at rules together with the facts? Then you can give example of a case that being decided by high court dah kira consider as superior dah kan. Susah juga lah sebab kita nak kena letak magistrate ataupun session court. So just get a case. This is just an opinion lah. Tak apalah, you don't have to come up with a direct answer by giving example of a court case in order for you to support this. Okay, the third one, the third question. Do you have any question on the first and the second question, guys? Do you have any questions you wanted to ask? Tak ada. Okay. If you have, just write it down, so I can go through. Madam. Claudia kata macam mana kalau nak apply law part clear, what do you mean by law part clear? Oh, nak apply is your critical analysis lah, your own opinion. So whenever you come up with your own opinion, you must it is preferable kalau you come up with your evidences in order for you to support. Boleh Claudia, kita tengok the third question. The fallacy of Marxism in the theory of state and the law is that the state and the law would wither away. What has actually transpired is that both the socialist state and the socialist law have prevailed. Justify why socialist state needs to contradict itself by maintaining that it is still in a state of transition. Macam mana ni soalan ni? How do you answer this? Boleh tak guys? Cuba type tau. Okey ke tak okey soalan ni?
Tak faham soalan dia.
Soalan pening ya. Marxism is a theory yang mengatakan apabila kita sampai to the level of communism, kita tak perlu lagi konsep of state and law, di mana state and law ni konsep yang di mana kita pakai. Sekarang kita ada government dan sekarang kita ada judiciary in terms of law and justice. Selalunya akan kita tak pakai lah, because we don't need the concept anymore. Kita dah sampai that level di mana everything is for everyone. Everyone is not pressured to do something just because the government is forcing them to do so. The government is not abusing their position because there is no government at that point of time. The people is the one that is going to have more power to give direction of the state. So dia kata that is the situation lah. Dia kata what has actually transpired is that both the socialist state and socialist law have prevailed. Meaning Marx kata kita akan berpindah daripada feudalism, daripada komunism dulu, kita jadi feudalism. Komunism berpindah kepada feudalism, feudalism berpindah kepada kapitalism, kapitalism berpindah kepada socialism, socialism akan balik kepada komunism. So proses tu akan bergerak daripada satu ke satu sampai dia patah balik ke komunism. Daripada mula kita start komunism, kita akan habis dengan komunism. Sekarang countries masih dalam tak ada dah feudalism kot dekat dunia ni. Feudal mungkin ada a few countries lah, macam Brunei, macam Saudi Arabia, you know, one person hereditary, you know, in power controlling the government. Tapi kita kebanyakannya kita ada kapitalis dengan socialist. Now kapitalis dengan socialist where the central government is more powerful in terms of giving the benefit back to the society. Okay, so Russia dengan China or North Korea, can they be seen as communist, or are they stuck dekat socialist? Dia orang bukan, dia orang masih socialist when it comes to Russia, North Korea and then China. They are still under socialist. No matter yalah, dia orang katalah kononnya kita panggil dia orang komunis, dia orang bukan komunis. Kalau komunis tak ada law. The law punya rule is very minimal, you know. And then government punya rule is very minimal. So Marxist teori ni tak sampai lagi, tak ada siapa dalam negara dalam dunia yang sampai. So jadi dia kata kat sini, what is transpired actually sekarang ni, apa yang jadi di mana social state dengan social law prevail. Maksudnya kalau kita tengok France, kita tengok Russia, kita tengok China, you know, banyak kepada socialist, masih pada level socialist. Banyak kepada even kalau kita tengok France pun socialist dah nak balik kepada kapitalis. Sebab dia tak nak, sepatutnya socialist country ni dia memang European countries. Kalau kita tengok Netherlands, Sweden, Switzerland, dia orang kebanyakannya socialist punya state whereby the government is strong in order for the government to give back to the society. So kalau lah kata kita tengok Russia, China, they are still in the socialist punya level. Tapi dia orang dah ke arah dictatorship. Okay? Dia ke arah feudal balik. Dia nak seolah-olah patah balik ke feudalism. di mana dia dah akan jadi macam seorang raja yang memerintah semua. So jadi dia kata macam mana ni, dia kata justify socialist state ni punya keadaan, sama ada dia ni nak kena maintain ke macam mana, dia nak identify sama ada dia masih dalam status socialist nak ke arah komunisme ataupun macam mana. So maksudnya opinion you diperlukan, kefahaman you diperlukan untuk identify sama ada keadaan tu macam mana berkenaan dengan socialist state ni. Dia orang ni macam mana? Adakah dia orang dalam proses nak gerak ke komunisme ataupun dalam proses nak patah balik ke kapitalisme? Kalau kita tengok Russia collapse. Russia collapse, socialist state dia orang collapse dan dia orang dalam proses untuk patah balik ke kapitalisme. Okay, government tapi masih dictatorship lah. Masih ke dalam dictatorship di mana dia tangkap, dia boleh bunuh you. Especially kalau kita tengok North Korea is more towards dictatorship. Dia orang kata dia orang social state lah, dia establish a social state to apply communism so that the society is going to benefit. Property is going to be centralized. Tapi instead of centralized tu cuma sementara saja, roughly about katalah 2-3 tahun ataupun 5 tahun, it will have to be given back to the society to decide how they want to control themselves. Kalau you pegang central government yang kuat, itu masih dalam socialist punya state lah. Faham ke tak ni? Ni guys faham guys? Brandon macam mana Brandon? Siapa yang? Vinny? Claudia? Yang the rest? Cempaka? Are you okay Aisyah? Katalah soalan Marxism dia keluar, right? Soalan Marxism akan tanya sama ada countries in the world are in Marx punya definition of communism ke tak. So far memang tak ada country yang dah capai Marx punya status, di mana berlakunya keadaan di mana state tu tak powerful, everything is being given back to the society, there is no need for the law. Tu nama dia withers away, maksudnya dia macam pokok lalang lah. Pokok lalang kan ada bunga-bunga lalang, bila angin datang dia terbang je. Jadi dulu perlu ada bunga-bunga tu stick kepada pokok lalang. Tapi bila angin tu datang, dia akan maksudnya apabila proses komunisme tu yang sebenar datang, jadi tak perlu lagi ada state dengan a strong state ataupun the existence of law for that particular country. So macam mana nak jawab? Mati. Soalan datang macam ni lah dia akan bagi satu situation yang obviously whenever the question is given to you later on, I tak boleh masuk campur. You kena faham-faham sendirilah. So what we are doing right now is to be able to, orang kata agak-agak soalan datang is not straightforward. Dia akan datang dari segi soalan, dari segi problem dari segi asking your opinion. So jadi dia kata kat sini, justify why socialist state needs to contradict itself by maintaining that it is still in the process of transition. Boleh tak dia nak kata dia dalam proses transition ke komunisme? Tapi tak faham langsung. Tak boleh nampak langsung. Boleh nampak tak guys soalan ni? Susah kan? Tapi tak semestinya tak boleh jawab. Yes. Any statement that you want to make, guys? Okay. Does that mean it remains an idea and not the reality? Obviously, there is no country that has achieved Marx punya definition of teori in terms of communism. Belum ada. Okay, so jadi sekarang ni semua negara masih stuck kepada socialist, ya, macam China, Russia, North Korea, Vietnam, then itu kononnya communist state lah. Then we have Scandinavian countries, semua socialist tu, ya. The people that stays in their citizens kan, semuanya hidup dalam keadaan aman, di mana dia orang ada central state, central government, but the central government is actively doing things for the benefit of the society. So macam kita boleh kata kita masih dalam keadaan partial socialist, partial socialist, because kita ada things, kita pun daripada socialist state kita berpindah kepada kapitalis. Kita jual habis kita punya TNB, dulu LLN, ya, lembaga elektrik negara, so kita privatize. Bila kita privatize, maksudnya kita dah ubah kita punya socialist punya state kepada kapitalis. Okay, macam Jabatan Air Selangor, dulu bawah kerajaan, jabatan, okay. Lembaga elektrik negara, dia bawah kerajaan. Anything that is under the government, meaning the government is playing an active role to change or to give benefit to the society. So itu dinamakan socialist state. Kalau dekat Amerika, nothing is being owned by the government, semuanya privatized. Okay, kalau everything is being privatized, maksudnya dia dalam state, dalam sistem capitalism. So itu sistem ekonomi, we are talking about system economy. So kalaulah kata sistem ekonomi Amerika is capitalism, kita mix France dia socialist selepas dia jatuhkan raja-raja dia punya apa, the kings has been terminated, dia orang bunuh dia orang punya sistem raja dia orang. They have a socialist state. Socialist state meaning the government is giving everything for the benefit of the society. Tapi sekarang pun nak berubah ke kapitalis. Siapa nama dia? The president of France. Siapa nama dia? Lupa dah. Duk nampak. Macron. Okay, Macron is the one that is changing the whole system, going back to capitalism. So orang kata tak larat lah kerajaan nak bela kan. So socialist kalau ambil Russia and China, they are more towards socialist lah, di mana they are stronger central government in order central government to give benefit to the society. So semua orang masih tersangkut dekat socialist state. Tak ada siapa yang cross over to communism proper. Jadi dia minta you kenapa jadi macam tu. So you boleh justify lah in terms of kenapa dia jadi macam tu. Because nak ubah tu senang tak? Nak ke Marxism punya level. It's not easy for the people dah hand over dah the power to the state, but the state, once they are holding power, is very difficult for them to release back to the society, irrespective of whichever country that applies socialist. Macam kita pakai socialist and capitalist, tapi disebabkan people who wants to be in power, the government wants to be in power, kita ada emergency today, you know. It is not about the people, it is about the staying in power. So kalau kita tengok Russia, China, they wanted to be in power. By right, they are right. Orang kata they are just nice for them to hand over back to the society, because everything is being private ownership dah tak ada dah dekat China and Russia. It's just a matter of giving back to the society. Tapi they are unable to do that because they are worried. Because when you are worried about transferring your power back to the society, you might think that somebody is going to take over and it turn back to capitalist ke, turn back to feudalism ke, but in fact they become feudalists themselves. Okay, macam North Korea, kalau you tak tunduk dekat dia punya portrait, and bila ada orang angkat gambar you kena punishment. So to the extent it becomes like jadi macam feudal lah. So you bagi your own discussion lah in terms of what do you think. Okay, macam ni, question number 4. This is about what type of what group of jurisprudence? Oliver Crona, Ross, apa jurisprudence tu? Scandinavian, good. Alright. So jadi sekarang ni dia minta 2 orang. So distinguish meaning you have to differentiate Oliver Crona dengan Ross. Apa beza dia? Can you see the differences? They are in a group, same group, realism, especially Scandinavian realism, but they are different in terms of their what do you call it? Their approaches. Yeah, their approaches is different. Macam mana kita nak buat? Oliver Crona apa beza dengan Ross? Macam mana guys? Apa idea Oliver Crona? Boleh dapat differentiation between both of them? Maksudnya you are to be able to differentiate between these two ideas lah of these two person, Oliver Crona dengan Ross. That has to be differentiated. Okay, you have to differentiate these two in terms of the idea. Kalau kita tengok question number 5, ini cari sendiri I want you to be able to identify the differences between both two. And the last one before we end the session, macam ni. Kalau lah kata dia bagi ni lagi satu soalan on Marxism. I think we will do part B juga. Ada lagi satu. Susah nak buat soalan kalau you all are not in involved in the discussion. Soalan nombor 5 macam mana nak jawab? Yang ni 2008, it is more towards Marxism lah. Sampai 3 soalan Kalau tengok soalan 3, Marxism. Soalan 5, Marxism. Soalan 4B, 1, System Theory on Marxism juga. Okay. So, soalan ni macam mana you nak buat? Soalan based on which group? Soalan based on which group, guys? Which group of jurisprudence? No idea? Yes? Scandinavian, okay, good. Right, thank you Aisyah. Jadi macam mana nak jawab soalan ni? Demands the change of political system. Kenapa? Summarize your suggestion whether postmodernist proposal can be effectively carried out. Meaning, you are to support postmodernist punya point of view as compared to Marxism, as compared to capitalism, as compared to socialism. Okay, bureaucratic welfare state, socialism lah. Kita socialism is welfare state. You duduk kat situ, you banyak dapat untung je lah. Kalau Scandinavian countries, dia memang dapat benefit banyak. Education free, sampai university lah, apa semua. So jadi ada 4 benda. Marxism, you compare. You jangan ambil kalau you dapat soalan macam ni dia suruh concentrate, you kena jadi postmodernist punya point of view. You attack Marxism, you attack capitalism, you juga attack socialism. Postmodernism tu apa? Dia punya idea. What is the basic ideology? Siapa yang punya juris yang ni nak kena ambil? Teori apa yang ada berkenaan dengan Scandinavian? Yes? Apa tentang Scandinavian that is important for us to understand? Scandinavian, postmodernism look Scandinavian. My mistake. Bukanlah Aisyah Scandinavian, postmodernism. Postmodernism is they are not Scandinavian. Sorry, saya yang silap all the way. Syashul. Habermas, okay, good. Kalau ambil Habermas macam mana? What is the idea of Habermas? Apa dia punya main idea of Habermas? Theory of apa Habermas punya idea? The outcome of the law, the outcome of the law is pragmatic, macam pragmatic outcome of the law. So jadi outcome of the law macam mana yang that is important? What you need to do in order to have good law? Teori apa yang dia ketengahkan? Very good. Siti, communicative and public sphere. So, how do you compare that idea of Habermas dalam cerita ni? Meaning you are to utilize the situation, ataupun the theory of postmodernism is much better than Marxism, because Marxism dah tak boleh pakai. Why Marxism tak boleh pakai? In light with communication, do they communicate? Susah when it comes to Marxism, communism. It is non-existence because kita tak ada negara yang sampai ke Marxism lagi. So how can you have Marxism to be discussed whether Marxism is a good concept for us to apply. So kalau kita tengok capitalism dengan the relationship of communicative and public sphere, apa yang kepincangan capitalism that you boleh nampak yang di mana dia tak ada communication. Do capitalist state communicate with people? Ada tak? Guys, macam mana I nak bantu you all? You tak nak try? I have no idea. Rally, very good. Why do you think that is rally? Because they came out with policy. They have no, macam sekarang lah kita ambil contoh sekarang. We are in a capitalist punya nature. Malaysia is a capitalist country. So if we are in a capitalist country like Malaysia, the government doesn't communicate with those people that they control. Okay, they did some kind of communication when it comes to MCO, but the communication is too too distracted in terms of the information that they give is haywire. So people are lost, you know, too much communication that is being done. That is wrong for them to do that. But other than that, when it comes to plan over how to revive the country, how to increase foreign investment, how to resolve COVID, so there is no step. Say for example, hari ni dah masuk emergency. Yesterday pukul 5 petang baru nak discuss about SOP. They declared that the MCO is going to be implemented today, but the SOP tak keluar. And you expect people, industry to respond and to plan. Do you think that the industry is waiting for you? As a government, you should not be able to do that. You are failing in terms of to communicate with the society in terms of what they need to do. So whenever the society is in a dark area, or they have no idea what is the thing that is needed for them to do, or the direction is not clear, so they are not going to support you. You know, as what we can see right now, the government is more into saving themselves as compared to attending to the needs of the society. So capitalists, they can deal with other people if you are important enough for them. Okay, if you are a company, big companies, like Samsung, National Panasonic, big companies that is foreign companies that we have inside Malaysia, then the government is having communicative interaction between them and the companies, which is not good. There is no concern about those people yang tak ada kerja, tak kena buang kerja. The government is not concerned about that. That is not something that the government neglect. So postmodernism is postmodernists. They are very straightforward. You have to communicate. You have to come up with certain laws to support the outcome of the law. In terms of the impact to the society and things like that. So if you read the postmodernist approach, they are more dynamic. They are more effective as compared to socialists, as compared to capitalists, as compared to Marxists, right? So these are the approach that you are to conduct in order for you to investigate the question, the requirement of the question. Try to look again and again about the question until and unless you are able to understand what is the need of the question. So jangan takut, you are to repeat reading the question, especially when your question is coming in is very lengthy. So what you have to do is repeat and repeat and repeat. Only then you will be able to get the gist of the question. Once you have the gist of the question, then you move towards structure of how to answer. Then only then you apply to what they call it, try to answer and write it down. Okay, guys. Boleh? I think you guys dah kena lah involve when it comes to discussion. I cannot be doing all this and spoon feeding you guys lah. You have to take action. It has to be a pairing of both sides. Okay. So I think we have to end the session until our class nanti lecture to continue with what we have left off. Yeah. Thank you guys for coming. Alright, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Alright, welcome. Everyone have to go out. I think I'm recording the session.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.